Good morning, students. We resume with the lecture of narrating the story of Princess September, the prelude of which I had given you in the prior lecture. The story ended at the note where Princess September's parrot dies and her mama tells her maids to put her to sleep. And when she's about to sleep, crying over there, she notices a bird which enters her room, and the bird sings beautifully. She presents the bird in front of the king also, and there the bird sings a beautiful song for the king and the queen. And at least the king is happy that he doesn't have to hear Pretty Polly over and over again in several different languages. So let's see what happens later. The princesses were vexed at this, and the parrots looked very glum indeed. Now, if somebody tells that something is better than the parrots, then obviously the princesses wouldn't be happy. So would be the parrots. They were sad. The parrots were sad because the king had appreciated the little bird more when compared to the parrots, and the princesses were worried, like might be this particular little bird would become the talk of the town and not their parrots. But Princess September ran through all the rooms of the palace, singing like a lark. Lark is a bird which sings, and it sings beautifully. While the little bird flew round and round, singing like a nightingale. Even a nightingale sings very beautifully. Sings as in they don't have wordings and all for singing. They don't have wordings and all, but they produce a kind of hum which is very rhythmic. Things went on like this for several days, and then the 8 princesses put their heads together. Now what happens is there's a kind of sort of competition between the princesses, as I already told you. They compete amongst each other to be the best, to prove themselves to be the best. So they thought, they got together and wanted to wanted to chalk out some kind of an action plan, what is to be done. They went to September and sat down in a circle round her. "My poor September," they said, "we are sorry for the death of your beautiful parrot. It must be dreadful for you not to have a pet bird as we have. So we have put all our pocket money together and we are going to buy you a lovely green and yellow parrot." Now the idea of having a pet is keeping it in captivity. Okay? Like if you have a pet dog, you don't allow it to roam around freely on the roads. You keep it in an enclosed area. If you have a bird, you keep it in a cage. So they have this notion, they put this notion in her mind, saying that this particular bird which died was actually a pet, and that we have come together sharing a pocket money over there to buy you a parrot again. "Thank you for nothing," said September. "I have a pet bird which sings the most charming songs to me, and I don't know what on earth I should do with the green and yellow parrot." So she says, "Thank you for the offer, but you offering me for nothing at all. Because I do have a very good pet, that is the bird." "Well, my dear," they said, "it's absurd to talk of your bird when this little fellow flies in and out just as he likes." So they say, there's so much of uncertainty about your little bird. It flies anytime in, it flies anytime out. It is not under captivity. And then would it return in the very first place if it goes away one day and then it doesn't feel like coming back? Would it definitely return? Now they put this doubt in her mind deliberately because they don't want the little bird to stay with her. They looked round the room and raised their eyebrows. So they looked like this, like that kind of a look, saying, "Where is it right now? It's nowhere to be seen." "Do you mind our asking where your bird is now?" they said. "He has gone to pay a visit to his father-in-law." The bird has got a father-in-law also. So she says that he has gone to visit his father-in-law, said Princess September. "And what makes you think he'll come back?" asked the princesses. "He always does come back," said September. "Well, my dear," said the 8 princesses, "if you will take care of our advice, you won't run any risk like that. If he comes back, and mind you, if he does, you'll be lucky, pop him into the cage and keep him there. That's the only way you can be sure of him. But I like to have him fly about the room, said the young Princess September. Safety first, said her sisters ominously. Now, they actually want their thing to happen, whatever they want, very wicked thought in their mind that the bird should be kept in captivity, and they are actually putting this particular idea in her mind. So they says, firstly, when it comes back, if it comes back, then you need to put it in a cage, because its safety is the priormost thing over here. They got up and walked out of the room, shaking their heads, and they left September very uneasy. Now, if you put in somebody's brain a thought which actually haunts you, which actually worries you, then definitely there is going to be a repercussion, a reaction which would not be that good. It seemed to Princess September that her little bird had been away for a long time. Something might have happened to him. What with hawks and with snares, you never knew what trouble he might get into. Now, snares are traps for catching the birds. Now, start imagining about the predators outside, and then the cages which are kept over there to capture the birds and all. So she thinks if it gets caught in one of these, or if it gets hunted by one of the predators, what would happen? Besides, he might forget her, or he might take a fancy to somebody else. What if he starts liking somebody else more? Then too he would quit on her. That would be dreadful. She wishes he was safely back again. So she continuously prays over here that come back safely to me. Suddenly September heard a tweet tweet just behind her ear, and she saw the little bird sitting on her shoulder. He had come in so quietly and alighted so softly that she had not heard him at all. So it had come down so quietly that she couldn't even, she was like actually engrossed in her own thought processes, but it came down so quietly and sat down on her shoulder. I wondered what on earth had become of you, said the princess. I thought you would wonder that, said the little bird. The fact is I very nearly didn't come back tonight at all. My father-in-law was giving a party and they all wanted me to stay, but I thought you would be anxious. So he says, I didn't want to come back tonight because my father-in-law was throwing a party and they wanted me over there. I thought of not coming, but I know that you would be getting worried about me. That's why I came back. Under the circumstances, this was a very unfortunate remark for the little bird to make. When the princess herself was thinking it to be kept in a cage, what if it would not return, all these thoughts were building up in her mind, and this bird passes a wrong remark at the wrong time over here. Timing of the remark was also a bad one. So what happened is, as soon as he says that I thought of not coming tonight, it definitely brings a roundabout in this particular person's behavior. Now she wants it to be in captivity. September felt her heart go thump against her chest, and she made up her mind to take no more risks. She put up her hand and took hold of the bird. The bird suspected nothing because the princess was so good to it that the bird did not suspect anything wrong to happen to it. When she carried, and he was so surprised when she carried him over to the cage, popped him in and shut the door on him that for a moment he could think of nothing to say. He was so taken aback, so surprised by the princess's behavior when she popped him into the cage and latched it from outside. The bird did not know how to react at this particular situation. But in a moment or two, he hopped up to the ivory perch and said, "What is the joke?" So it being innocent, perch is a part of this thing on which you sit and then you swing in a cage. So it sat on that. Ivory is a tusk of an elephant. So it was made of that because princess she is, and the cage also should be exquisite. So it sat on that perch and asked, what kind of a joke is this? So it was thinking that it was a game or a prank which she was playing on it. So I will continue with the lecture in the next part and then finish off the story. That's all for now. Read your part till here.